We proposed to the journalists a partnership that we believed would have helped us move beyond our reciprocal stereotypes. We wanted to get away from both preconceptions, that of trying to convince the public and that of trying to conform to the expected taste of the public.
The people designing and signing up to these can be quite complacent because they're not going to be around in 2015. They're not going to be accountable when the Millennium Goals are decided. And I was asked to do a talk on futures. This is a new thing, looking at innovation and creativity for companies like McKinsey, PricewaterhouseCoopers, etc. We're doing long-term visioning exercises, 50 years ahead. And I spoke on this to a robust and quite young audience, but I was laughing because I said I can say anything I like because 50 years from now I'll be dead and nobody can actually tell me I was wrong. And if you like, that's a bit about how I approach the Millennium Development Goals. The people who set them up are no longer the ones in power, they're no longer the ones accountable. So I think they were ambitious, they were hugely ambitious. I have to say I think they will fail, but I said that at the outset, but I don't think it's wrong to have ambition. And they have made, at least we've pegged change to something, we're measuring something, and that has to be a good thing.
Each year, hundreds of thousands of women die of childbirth in developing regions. Women dying of childbirth in the poorest countries is 200 times higher than those dying in developed countries. The Millennium Development Goal 5 aims at reducing maternal mortality rates through greater access to reproductive health care, reducing adolescent pregnancies, and promoting the use of contraceptives. The target set for this goal was to reduce annual maternal mortality by 75%. But due to insufficient funds for actions taken to achieve this goal, the current decline in the annual mortality rates is only around 31%.
Recuerdo que escojo una película en Betamax y vimos esa película todas. Era una historia de una mujer que estaba sufriendo maltrato, de una mujer que estaba sufriendo violencia, de una mujer que estaba sufriendo pobreza. Y en ver ese video fue que una ventana, se abrió la ventana donde nos dimos cuenta que esa situación que esa mujer del video estaba viviendo no estaba bien, pero tampoco estaba bien la situación de nosotras.
1/6 of Colombia's population lives in Bogota, a metropolis of around 8 million people that continues to grow with the continuous and increasing influx of individuals and families escaping poverty and violence of the rural areas. But what migrants from rural areas find in big cities like Bogota is often more poverty and more violence.
Estamos en la localidad de Ciudad Bolívar, una de las que queda en la zona marginal de la ciudad. El caso de la persona que vamos a mirar ahora más adelante, la experiencia, hace 21 años llegó con su hija en unas condiciones difíciles, sin saber qué iba a encontrar, pero con la esperanza de, con su trabajo y el empeño, poder salir aquí adelante en esta localidad.
The government of Bogota is implementing a comprehensive program of food security called Bogota Without Hunger. This policy is centered around community canteens located in areas where most of the poor, vulnerable and marginalized population lives.
Es el proyecto de seguridad alimentaria y nutricional, proyecto 515 de la Secretaría de Integración Social, Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá. En este proyecto básicamente se restituye el derecho a la alimentación. Se entregan en este punto que se llama punto de entrega Vista Hermosa, se entregan canastas complementarias, se entregan a 202 familias en estado de alta fragilidad socioeconómica.
Su merced que queremos, los señores quieren venir y conocer su casa. Es un video que estamos haciendo para hablar de la gente de los comedores. ¿Cuántos niños tiene ahorita? 6, ¿cierto? 6 niños. De esos 6 niños, 4 están en el comedor comunitario y allí se les garantiza el almuerzo.
Marisol Grenet, an active leader of Juan Pablo II, is an example of a single mother who moved out of poverty. She came to the city with dreams of a better life. In the beginning, things went very wrong.
Yo provengo de una familia que mi mamá es cabeza de hogar. Cuando yo me embarazo, pues sencillamente tenía 16 años. No había terminado ni siquiera mis estudios de primaria. Por ser la mayor de 4 hermanos, Apenas aprende uno a leer y a escribir, mi mamá me dice, John, usted no puede seguir estudiando, usted tiene que ayudarme a mí en los oficios de la casa mientras yo trabajo para subsistir. Ese fue un momento muy, muy difícil porque pasar de la protección del hogar a buscar cómo voy a hacer mi propio proyecto de vida. Una chica joven con una bebé, sin estudio, sin redes de apoyo.
But she didn't lose courage and steadfastness, and she held on. She formed a group of other young mothers, and they lived together, taking care of each other, organizing a common kitchen, and opening a nursery for their children and those of others.
Ahí surge la necesidad de organizarnos, de crear algo a través de lo cual pudiéramos superar la fragilidad.
Estamos en el barrio Juan Pablo II, es un barrio que se construyó por invasión más o menos a principios de 1980. Hay 2.600 predios, la mayoría de estas personas son jóvenes, son niños. Podríamos decir que de cada núcleo familiar de 8 personas, 6 son niños y son jóvenes. La plazoleta representa el corazón del barrio. Aquí en la plazoleta están todos nuestros símbolos. Esta es una escultura que hicieron en recordación de un proceso doloroso que se dio en el barrio. Fue el asesinato de un grupo de jóvenes.
Por ejemplo, no había que comer, no había que almorzar, no había que desayunar. Entonces ya nos reuníamos. Mire, no tengo que comer hoy, pero tengo estas papas. Y la otra decía, yo tengo este arroz. La otra decía, yo tengo esta panela. Entonces juntábamos lo que teníamos todas y se daba la famosa parábola de la multiplicación de los panes y de los peces.
Then came the support of the local government, and their small community became the local community center. They now also manage a library, a canteen, a health center, an education program, and an economic self-empowerment scheme.
El proyecto de comedores comunitarios es una estrategia que utiliza la Secretaría de Integración Social con el propósito de restablecer los derechos de alimentación de la población más vulnerable. En este caso, atendemos niños, adultos mayores, personas con discapacidad y madres embarazadas y lactantes. Si alguna necesitaba trabajar, tenía que dejar su bebé al cuidado de la otra. Y así empezamos a darnos cuenta que juntos, sumando los recursos del uno y del otro, por pequeños que fueran, siempre sumaban y sumaban más, porque cuando estamos los seres humanos, 1 más 1 nunca son 2, siempre resultamos siendo 3 o 4. Cuando descubrimos eso, tomamos la decisión de organizarnos.
Los recursos estatales siempre estuvieron limitados a que los manejaran exclusivamente las grandes empresas, los emporios, los grandes, los que forman grandes empresas. Esta administración logró que esas organizaciones sociales de base, esas organizaciones allá en cada rincón de los barrios pudieran manejar, aprender a administrar esos recursos y hacer posible que con esos recursos se pudiera llegar a esa inmensidad de pobreza que hay en cada rincón y que a veces queda oculta y que además nos encargamos muchas veces o a través de los medios o a través de los mismos programas del Estado a invisibilizar la pobreza.
De por qué se daba la pobreza, de por qué no podíamos estudiar, de por qué teníamos que tener los hijos en condiciones de salubridad terribles, de por qué no teníamos acceso a anticonceptivos. Entonces hay un flash y empiezan a surgir muchas preguntas que antes no nos hacíamos. Nosotros creíamos que la vida era así, que sencillamente estábamos diseñadas biológicamente para ser madres. Y cuando vienen todas las preguntas, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Entonces surge entre nosotras un lazo.
Digamos que en la política electoral hay discurso respecto al tema de participación y la gente vota por eso que le están prometiendo. Entonces vota y pone un gobernante, pero si ese gobernante no fue capaz de traducir lo que prometió en campaña y volverlo una realidad en su ciudad, pues definitivamente se quedó en el discurso. Esa es una cosa que Bogotá ha logrado trascender en los dos últimos gobiernos.
La base de mi trabajo periodista es fundamentalmente la responsabilidad social. ¿Y en qué sentido? en que yo considero hoy en día, ya estando allá de reportero y ahora estando aquí como funcionario público, promoviendo y divulgando las acciones sociales del Estado, me he dado cuenta que hay una gran importancia, cobra muchísimo valor el hecho de no solo contar los problemas de tu país, de tu región, de tu ciudad o de tu barrio, sino además de ser un actor partícipe de la solución de los problemas de tu ciudad y de tu barrio. Eso es lo que realmente, para mí, hace grande il trabajo del reportero.
Il lavoro di collaborazione tra la RAI e Armadilla sono due istituzioni diverse, no? Con due professional backgrounds diversi. Ti sembra difficile o ci sono delle difficoltà?
Guarda, dico allora questo, che forse per il tipo di lavoro di questo documentario è la cosa forse più interessante da dire. Non tanto con Armadilla, ovviamente, quanto piuttosto con le mentalità, diciamo, che la cultura della cooperazione, che è importantissima, esprime nei confronti dei processi comunicativi. So per certo che io ho un'idea del modo con cui si comunica ovviamente diversa da quella che ha una struttura pur importante di cooperazione, che hai tu stesso, che ha Stefano, che ha fino a qualche tempo fa, prima di misurarsi con noi, per esempio anche Gori, che pure si è formata moltissimo con noi. Qual è la differenza? È che io penso che le cose nel processo della comunicazione hanno dei codici propri, interni, che chi è addetto all'informazione ha il dovere di individuare caso per caso, situazione per situazione, scegliendo per ciascuna situazione i modi giusti di comunicare quello che magari non si vede, magari è sotterraneo, magari chi pensa che tutto si risolva nel dialogo, nell'intervista, nella battuta, non capisce, ma io ho un sistema, come posso dire, più articolato, più complesso, più un alfabeto, ecco, diciamo, più ampio della comunicazione, e allora su questo ho avuto difficoltà anche a persuadere te, Stefano, Armadilla, insomma tutti quelli che stavano con me, che ci sono delle cose che fanno presa, anche se non sono immediatamente, come posso dire, un resoconto dialogico, ma un'immagine, un tramonto, un albero, un cespuglio, un filo d'erba, dicono più di 1000 discorsi. Questa è la cosa su cui ho combattuto, forse riuscendo anche a persuadere un po', credo.
A good job at least?
Yes, it's a good job. At times, because at times you catch a lot. You make money. At times, no better. You know, fishing is just like gambling. You know, when you go to the casino, not every time you win, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Why you people always one or two children? Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Well, my opinion as an African,
Yeah.
I want to get 5, 6.
Yeah,
If the
okay.
1 or 2 don't catch,
Yeah.
don't give me. 3 or 4
will give
must
me.
give. But 1 children is nothing.
I hope my
Relative.
opinion is when themselves gets big,
They work
for me
they
like
take care
I
of his
take
wife
care of
and
my
also
mother and
take
my
care
father.
of we. Because right now, at that time, we are getting old.
Yes. And do you think that they will do this?
Yes, because I
Have already
already
done it
done
their
that to my
grandmother and
mother
grandfather.
and my father. So when they self grow up, they will do it exactly.
It's a
to
matter
me.
of mosque.
What's your opinion about the European don't have more than 2 or 1 child? Why? What do you think about?
Well, that's why I want to know. I think about that in Europe, there's a lot of expenses to get many children. If you don't have money to bring them up, it'll be a problem. Not so.
Here there isn't this problem.
Yes, yeah, we
In
African.
Europe, yes, and in Africa, no.
No, in Europe,
Yeah.
even if you have a brother, he won't help you to bring up your children. Your responsibility, you and your wife, is your responsibility. But see, we African, if I get 4 children, I have no money, I get my brother or my sister, he will help me.
How many children do you have?
I have 6 children.
6 or 5?
6 children.
6.
Yeah.
You thought that
I forgot. I'm the husband, but he's the mother, so I don't want a lot of responsibility, so I pull out.
And what's your hope for your children? To do what?
My hope?
When, yeah.
Well, these last children, when they get old, I don't want any of my children to be a politician. That's the first thing. I don't want them to be a politician or a police soldier.
Why not?
No, that
Why
work
not?
is very dangerous in Africa.
Unlike some of the people in the West, they have certain cultures that we Africans, we not appreciate, we don't accept that type of culture. For instance, like kids in Africa, they'll never get the strong enthusiasm to either tell their parents, say, "Daddy, shut up." That is un-African.
I should prefer to have a big family and live together like you. But it's not our custom. I don't know why. I can't understand your question.
Well, it used to be. In Italy, there used to be, long time back, there used to be big families.
But now, small families.
But now, because of work, it's not possible to have big families because everyone has to work, and also the feeling of attachment between the father and the children is becoming less. So people are becoming more selfish. So they prefer living, and they don't want to live with their parents. They are old. They are.
They want to live their own way,
yes.
or their own.
They want to be independent. They want. There is a very strong feeling of independence and freedom from everything. But this leads to loneliness.
Perché la comunicazione è sempre un'arte. E quindi l'arte della comunicazione, nel senso la capacità della comunicazione di essere bella, essere vera, perché nella comunicazione il bello e il vero vanno insieme.
So there are certain values, certain culture in Africa that we normally appreciate. Or like some of our kids, when they go to the Western world, if they are there, they've ebbed the Western way of living. If they normally come, you see that there is a clash of culture.
¿Por qué todos los periódicos en el mundo piensan que la información es una información mala, de sangre y muerte? ¿Por qué?
Yo creo que ellos, en el fondo, juzgan por su propia forma de ver el mundo. No tienen una visión globalizada, ni hay un estudio de mercado que los convenza de que la acción del comunicador trasciende de contar las cosas negativas. Y siempre hay un estereotipo clarísimo en que lo que vende es lo malo. La información mala vende. Pero no hay un estudio de mercado serio que le diga al reportero o al periódico que realmente es lo malo lo que vende. Yo considero que hay que investigar un poco más a ese lector. Hay que investigar un poco más a ese lector para conocer realmente lo che él quiere saber del mondo.
Tutti sono persuasi che i giornalisti potrebbero essere più bravi se fossero un po' più obiettivi. L'obiettività che cos'è? È l'espressione di un punto di vista presuntamente neutrale, asettico, lontano, diciamo, dalle emozioni, dalle pulsioni del momento, dal principio di appartenenza, di nazionalità, di lingua, di territorio, come se ci fosse appunto una dimensione altra, sovranazionale, sovraconcettuale, metafisica quasi, che appartiene appunto al mondo presunto dell'obiettività. Che tutte le testate, sappiamo, hanno un editore che persegue degli obiettivi che non sono degli obiettivi di principio o di filosofia dell'informazione, sono dei principi che hanno a cuore soprattutto la sostanza di determinare il consenso, di determinare flussi di opinione, di determinare flussi commerciali. Quindi gli editori sono sempre e comunque portatori di finalità, che usa la comunicazione per perseguire degli obiettivi che con la comunicazione in sé non hanno niente a che fare.
Quello che tentiamo di fare noi è, attraverso un processo di dialogo, superare un certo tipo di pregiudizio o di handicap che ci appartengono dal nostro clan metodologico di lavoro, no? Dove ci possiamo stimolare reciprocamente a avventurarci in terreni inconsueti, quindi che possono avere un risultato positivo o negativo a seconda di quello che succede, proprio perché è un'avventura nuova. Ma Noi non vogliamo essere oggettivi, nel senso o avere la pretesa di mostrare le cose per quello che sono, indipendentemente dal nostro punto di vista. Noi vogliamo contemporaneamente cercare di non essere parrocchiali o confessionali per veicolare dei interessi diversi. Allora, che cosa vogliamo fare? Ed è il motivo perché entriamo in campo. Quello di farci vedere con i nostri pregiudizi, sperando che siano pregiudizi aperti, che non siano troppo limitati, in modo tale che il pubblico possa vederli, valutarli e andare al di là. Tanto più sono prepotente nella mia interpretazione, tanto più presenterò la mia interpretazione come quella oggettiva, quindi quella che necessariamente va creduta. Tanto più io voglio mettere l'altra persona nella libertà di giudicare le cose liberamente dai miei pregiudizi, quanto più mi faccio vedere che quello che sto mostrando è il mio modo di capire e quindi posso mettere in condizione la persona di andare al di là del mio perché vede il mio.
And the same thing with Western journalism. At times we try to dissect African journalism and Western journalism in the sense that there are certain things that are very, very monolithic in our own society. And like yours, you only accept it because it is part of you. Africa, especially this part of Africa, third world African countries, there are certain things journalists don't do attempt to even in interview, like in a cultural society like the Pro or the Vrinda, you don't even mention. Considering such names, for you to discuss this type of names over the media, at times, people will definitely frown at you if you are not a member of a particular secret society.
Dai paesi in via di sviluppo passerà il 95% della crescita mondiale. Come potremo noi non avere un rapporto con quei paesi? Come possiamo noi non investire in quei paesi? Come possiamo noi rimanere fuori da un rapporto con loro e questo potrebbe creare una marginalità dell'Europa?
Quindi l'oggettività non sta in quello che dice il giornalista, ma, senti che ti dico, in quello che capisce l'utente dell'informazione. Se l'utente dell'informazione fa questo salto e lega la comunicazione del giornalista all'interesse dell'editore e ne coglie in trasparenza il percorso, lì si fa un'idea più oggettiva dell'informazione. Non è che ne coglie l'oggettività, però se la costruisce mentalmente nella propria testa.
Some of these journalists, just as their Western counterparts, they don't want to learn from Africa, and even they don't have the zest to continue to learn. And they go ahead and just castigate so many things that are happening in Africa. Unlike others, they really want to come and learn. It's because of this preconceived notion they've held for Africans for the past decades, that Africans, they are backward and our culture is barbaric.
Concern has been working in Sierra Leone since 1996 to work with the local communities in partnership with local organizations, government institutions and other development partners to address key issues of poverty in terms of access to health services, access to education, particularly primary education, and food security.
1 in every 3 persons in Sierra Leone lives in the slums. Klein Bay is an urban slum near central Freetown, the capital city of Sierra Leone. Here once there was a fabulous beach, but during the civil war it became a slum of refugees and internally displaced persons. In fact, it still continues to host thousands of migrant workers as well as the urban poor.
This is the bridge constructed by Concern, an NGO, and they constructed this so that the community's members found on this path can cross over to this side during the rainy season. And if you go further up, there is another bridge constructed by Concern.
Josephine works for Concern Worldwide, an NGO that has been active in Sierra Leone since 1996. She helps young women in the slums of Klein Bay to organize health clubs. Here, young mothers teach younger ones the fundamentals of hygiene, how to protect themselves from common diseases, how to avoid undesired pregnancies, and how to take care of themselves and their babies during pregnancy and after delivery.
I be there applying. Now applying I did so I in count man of me auntie nine count me. Wake out me so for campus me school. So I did with me auntie na me auntie can't die. And I got possible pay for me school again. So now I begin now at the cell where I come out school. I dey cancel butterscotch. I dey get them one block rent. Wait time reach for say something at school, I go. Wait time reach for pay for me school fees. I dey direct by me butterscotch. Then I go again at school. I dey panadete, I dey sell half. When I come to school, I can't sell. When I come to school, I dey sell. I dey get half. If na garri, if I soak am for the way I eat.
Since the end of Sierra Leone's civil war in 2002, the country has been struggling to rebuild its infrastructure. Although healthcare in the country is gradually improving, compared with industrialized countries where maternal mortality during childbirth is 1 in 8,000 women, the risk of death in childbirth in Sierra Leone is still 1 in 8 women. Besides the risk of complications, early pregnancies also hinder schooling and cause a vicious spiral of ignorance and poverty. The lack of health awareness is the main cause of disease, while the lack of primary health care is the main cause of death.
This club is important because they teach us how to take care of our babies.
Josephine's work in Klein Bay is part of a project that has been co-funded by the European Union. Through this project, traditional birth attendants are trained for providing monitoring and care during pregnancy, while women's clubs promote regular breastfeeding and checkups and also run antenatal and postnatal sessions amongst groups of women. In the meeting of the mothers' clubs, women share their problems and they motivate each other to return to school after delivering their babies. They also collectively organize creches for the babies and study groups for themselves.
Some of them who have 2 or 3 children, the work that we are doing here stop them to have more than 3 children. And some of them who are going to school, that's pregnant during school time, they have already decided to continue their education. Amen.
What is most important is that together they overcome self-victimization. First, they regain confidence in themselves, and then they share this confidence and become community leaders.
We strongly believe that local communities, the people for whom we have been working, they can be an active agent in addressing their own poverty issues, and we want them to take leadership.
Through this international cooperation project, poor young mothers learned how to trigger people's synergies. Now that they live a healthier life, they spread their newly acquired awareness and become the driving force for a social resurrection of the entire community of Klein Bay.
One of the biggest challenge I see with the international NGOs is sometimes they do not have a very good analysis of local context. They try to bring solutions from outside as an imported solution, and I feel many times this doesn't work. If NGOs, they do a proper analysis of the local context and try to find out solutions along with the communities which are affected, those solutions works much better than importing solutions from outside.
So that begin, because if not for that, at this situation where I be there, we picking up for begin happy. But due to concern, the help where they help me, and then supply me anything in there, now begin use by me picking. Say up to where I begin go school back. Then same advice. So from then I will be auntie that nobody will take care of me. I'm not the person who is responsible for me. I'm responsible by myself for myself.
So what are some of the plans do you have in order to improve the status quo in Africa, especially as far as African journalists are concerned?
Journalism is a part of culture. It may try to be sometimes isolated, but journalism is one of the stream of culture, like you have cinema, like you have music, like you have theater, you have journalism. It's a way of communicating, it's a part of a mixture of many elements. Now, so when we talk about, I wouldn't agree to talk about Western journalism and African journalism. I would like to speak about Western culture and African culture, which are made of many components. Now, if you say that Western culture is in a better status than African culture, I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree with that at all. What I think we need, both, maybe the West more, but you also, we need more communication, cooperation, and dialogue. We need more capacity to learn from each other. We need more perception of knowing that what I am alone is not enough in a world which is so diverse and which is made of so many components. We need to be aware that our capacity of understanding ourselves is not sufficient until we communicate with others. So I think that the responsibility of people of media like us is to try to help communication between peoples, so that we understand better the value of our culture and also the limitations of our culture.
Sometimes dialogue within families is more difficult than dialogue amongst civilizations. And sometimes exclusion and even violence within families is greater than violence amongst nations. When the Syrian Family Planning Association and IDOS, the Italian Association of Women for Development, started working together in Syria for improving maternal health, they decided to provide medical counseling to women, along with psychological and legal assistance services, so that both women and men would not have been left alone when they were overwhelmed with insurmountable difficulties in managing their sexual life.
Here we have many things, positive things. It is good also for me. Not I give just a help for the women, for the people. Also at the same time I can feel I am human. I'm not just someone who want to do this work for the money or for himself. Here I contact people, I can speak to people, I feel I can help him.
L'obiettivo di questo centro è garantire cercare di migliorare la condizione delle donne, quindi assicurare la promozione dei diritti delle donne, diritto alla salute in particolare, e attraverso un approccio olistico alla salute sessuale e riproduttiva. Approccio olistico cosa vuol dire? Una donna arriva qui generalmente per farsi visitare dalla ginecologa e nel corso della visita con la ginecologa vengono fuori fattori che determinano alcune carenze dal punto di vista della qualità della vita.
IDOS is an example of a European Association of Women originally established for the enforcement of women's rights in their own political context, and that is now sharing its acquired competence with women associations in developing countries. What is typical of IDOS is that they lack the arrogance of being modern, liberated Western women who claim to be the ones teaching the traditional, oppressed Eastern women on how to be emancipated. Instead, the IDOS team believes that both women and men, Western and Eastern, have to learn from each other how to recognize the value of a woman's nature and how to free oneself from cultural stereotypes.
I want to change the situation of women here, and by this center I can do this because I have a contact with a category. Normally we don't have it. We can't contact it because they are poor. They don't know anything about their rights. Here by the medical service, for example, when they come, I can help them through that. Do you know about your right? Do you know what you can do? Do you, for example, your husband or your son, can he come here? I will tell him about about his right more. So this is very good. We can change step by step.
In the Halbuni clinic now, not only do you find doctors and psychologists, you can also consult a lawyer for legal advice on issues of family violence. And if you want, you can also connect with a small community of women and men that have been facing similar problems in their family lives, and like you, have suffered in solitude and self-denial.
تقريبا ضل 10 سنوات ما يفوت بيتي أخي مقابل إنه تركت أنا بيت أهلي ولجأت لأولادي لأنه قال لي ماما أنا بحاجة إليك.
يعني اعتبرك أنت تخليتي عنه؟
خليت إنه رجعت غصبا عنه واخترت أولادي. كان الموقف إنه الحرب لا إحنا ما بقينا نفوت لعندك ولا بيتي تجي لعنا ولا أبدا أنت اخترتي الطريق بإيدك.
Molto spesso quello che facciamo si limita ad ascoltare, una cosa a cui le donne non sono abituate, un servizio che non esiste. Quindi ascoltiamo, cerchiamo di capire con loro, di aiutarle in un percorso di appropriazione di quella che è il loro benessere. Abbiamo lavorato tantissimo con la comunità, con i leader comunitari per farci accettare, perché ci appoggiassero e ci sostenessero, perché il lavoro della clinica è una parte di quello che facciamo, una grandissima parte dell'attività si svolge fuori.
So, by working together, women's associations in different nations can recognize in themselves the potentialities that might have been better developed by others. Then they can propose new ways of more peaceful and dignified cooperation amongst different cultures, be it the European versus the Asian culture, or the identity of being a woman versus the identity of being a man.
Why did you choose this kind of job?
This is my passion here.
Cioè, io vorrei, questa è la cosa fondamentale, vorrei anche cercare di spiegare sia al mondo dei comunicatori sia al pubblico che il clima di fiducia o sfiducia con cui ci si pone di fronte agli eventi non è una caratteristica neutra, ma una caratteristica fondamentale del tipo di clima di comunicazione che si pone. Se io ho il pregiudizio del solo le cattive notizie sono notizie che vendono, naturalmente io raccolgo solo le cattive notizie. E raccogliendo le cattive notizie spavento il pubblico, cioè creo un clima di sfiducia reciproca che invece di essere una situazione neutrale, capito, è una situazione creativa di sfiducia.
Questa è la frontiera vera, secondo me, dell'Europa, quello della comunicazione, del dire di sé all'altro. E se questa cosa qui non lo sanno dire gli esperti della comunicazione cosiddetti, e non sono loro messi nella condizione di attivare proprio una creatività di modelli espressivi che ancora non ci sono, ma che vanno inventati, ma devono essere stimolati a farlo, perché se questo non c'è, fanno tutti come fanno la maggior parte dei miei colleghi, se ne stanno a casa e prendono lo stipendio a fine mese, comunque copiando il lavoro delle agenzie.
Questa tendenza generale del sistema globale dell'informazione a funzionare soprattutto sull'allarme, sulla crisi, sulla cattiva notizia, sul delitto, sull'emergenza, e questo contribuisce sicuramente a creare uno stato d'animo dell'opinione pubblica mondiale che percepisce spesso quei paesi tramite il velo appunto di una visione catastrofistica e terrificante da una parte, oppure come paradisi dove andare in vacanza, ma non c'è mai una percezione invece della materialità, della normalità.
Noi non aiutiamo le persone a capire il mondo in cui vivono, questo è pericolosissimo, perché possono essere persone che non hanno poi né la sensibilità sociale né la curiosità intellettuale, ma nemmeno gli strumenti per capire, per vivere.
Yeah, biggest challenge for achievement is to get the proper communication right. You see, I mentioned that somehow we have also a kind of right-based approach, that people should come forward, go to the block development officer, ask for certain services, and will the authorities react, or will they feel threatened? Do they also feel properly responsible? You see, we don't like to create conflicts, so to say. We would like to create an atmosphere where line agencies, government and communities and NGOs are working together.
Quindi ogni atto di comunicazione è fondamentalmente un atto che o dà o toglie senso alla vita delle persone che ricevono quella comunicazione. Tutti gli atti della comunicazione sono atti fondativi di identità, cioè di valori e di vita possibile, quindi di progettualità nel futuro per ciascuno. Al contrario, tutto quello che spesso viene fatto con la presunzione del valore sacro dell'obiettività sono fatti che tolgono identità, neutralizzano il sistema dei valori e tolgono progettualità a tutti gli individui, perché li cristallizzano nel qui ed ora, privo di individualità e privo di futuro.
As a part of our cooperation projects, we are holding a workshop for Syrian journalists in the Syrian university. Suddenly it happened that the foreign journalists were asked to leave and all the journalist visas were cancelled. But since we were not journalists, we were having a training program for the journalists, but we were not journalists, we were allowed to stay. But we found it difficult to communicate outside of Syria because we wanted to communicate that things were a bit more complex, or quite more complex, than what the standard media were announcing.
So you contacted an Italian TV and a British media, and both of them rejected your offer for different reasons.
They both rejected the offers for different reasons, but they both said, we agree with your point, but it's too complicated to say. If we try to say it, we have to go against some certain kind of editorial lines that can be critical, and that is too complicated. So sorry, but it's too difficult.
So the European media had a specific idea of who were the good, who were the bad, and you were trying to be more nuanced, and it wasn't accepted by the media.
Yes, because that attribution of the others being bad give a sort of self-appreciation of us judging the others as bad. And that is a kind of narcissism that is a strong tendency, particularly of the Western journalists.
Però è importante perché
le
da una
manderò,
parte
non so se può servire qui, se vi posso dire a voi. Ho ricevuto una serie di interventi che poi mi hanno fatto i ragazzi in classe che mi hanno chiesto di registrarle con la telecamera appunto da mandare ai parlamentari europei.
In this moment in Brussels, parliamentarians are proposing is let's suspend development cooperation with Syria. Is the right approach?
I think what the European Union should do is to really listen to the people of Syria, not to take the news from the media agencies.
There's no need to punish the Syrian people by punishing the government, because absolutely we have to make a difference between the Syrian state and the Syrian government.
I don't see how any kind of financial or educational sanctions can do any help to Syrian people. They were getting us more closed, more away from European people, more away from communication, and more in close to ourselves and how we think.
We know how to develop our country by our hands, and I don't think that by taking this method that you are helping neither Syrian government, neither Syrian people, and we need to build it, but by cooperating with you.
So there's a link between cooperation and the people, because you cannot give something to someone and just take it away, and he did not do anything that deserves this kind of punishment.
Okay, there's demonstrations, and European people are supporting democracy in Syria, and in that case we should support and develop more such communication and such working shops.
Cooperation is one of the fundamental pillars of democracy. So if you want to promote democracy, you need to promote cooperation, because the moment you deny cooperation, you promote violence.
Well, development cooperation idea is actually to support the people, not the governments. Yes, we work sometimes with the governments where we share the same values, the same approaches, and it's helpful really to support the reform agenda. But we will not stop, because our determination is to help Syrian people to live in democratic society, in society where human rights are valued and where there is economic growth potential. So we will continue to work. We will not stop to work for Syrian people. And I think, as I mentioned from my country's experience, they just should not be desperate. They really should feel that, well, whatever they do is really good for their country, and they could be successful. And European Union is friend and supporter, not just political support, but also with development projects that, well, perhaps not make crucial impact, because people of the country make crucial, but make quite supportive role and makes a way to democratic society, to rich society, or at least society with good economic potential, much more easier.
In 2012, the European Union suspended all cooperation with the Syrian government, but partnerships and cooperation with the Syrian civil society still continue. Marisol Grenet continues to be in charge of the community kitchen of Juan Pablo II, but now she also trains women from different neighborhoods on how to form citizen action groups and take responsibility for the welfare of vulnerable populations in Colombia. The overall health situation in Sierra Leone is improving as the country gradually recovers from the consequences of the long and cruel civil war. Josephine now trains elected women in district councils on designing and managing health awareness programs for women. More than 150,000 people have been killed in the Syrian conflict, with millions forced to flee their homes. The Halbouni Clinic in Damascus is still operational, but it has lost the financial support of the European NGOs that are no longer active in Syria. but continue to work for Syrian refugees living across camps in Jordan, Lebanon and Turkey.